Welcome back to another episode of WJAG-TV. This week we'll visit cancer survivors in our school and in our community, get opinions from students and parents about the principal transition, and learn why social media is so addictive. My name is Aaliyah Nile.
And my name is Kiki Rayford.
And this is WJAG-TV with your weekly school news. In the U.S., 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer in their lifetime. How scary is that to know that you, your family members, or your friends could develop cancer? Here's Shanice Anderson with more.
Cancer is one of the leading cause of death worldwide, accounts for 9.6 million deaths in 2018. In 2019, there has been an estimated 1,762,450 new cancer cases diagnosed and 606,880 cancer deaths. About 2 out of every 3 people diagnosed with cancer will be alive at least 5 years after diagnosis. And here are survivors with their stories.
So I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma.
Well, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's large B-cell lymphoma.
So I was diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was diagnosed twice.
I was in stage 1.
It was at stage 3.
I was in stage 3, heading on to stage 4.
4.
And it is a cancer of the cell that took over 75% of her intestine.
What the tumor does is it doesn't allow me to process fats.
I didn't really have any negative thoughts about it because I didn't know what was going on and I didn't know anything about cancer.
I was thinking more of the financial problems that were going to happen because cancer is really expensive.
Well, for me to be diagnosed at a young age is normal to me because I see other people going through it.
I was very devastated because I've never known anybody to be that young to be diagnosed with breast cancer.
Every 300,000 families will hear your child's cancer but can't do nothing about it. Those 4 words could change your life forever, and here's how they change the survivors' lives.
It was rough. So I spent 180 nights in the hospital.
Stayed in the hospital for a month and a week.
The first stay was 28 days.
The nurses were really good with caring for children and they were all really supportive. There were a lot of activities and they made it as much like they could to not feel like a hospital.
Having to stay at the hospital all the time was lonely, tiring, boring.
It sucks. You feel I don't know, it's just it feels like you're in this dark cloud and you're not able to get out.
When I went back to school, I thought people were going to treat me differently.
Kids our age think if you post something it's because you want attention. And I just didn't want people to think, oh yeah, she wants attention, she wants this. I was just scared. And I don't know, but honestly I got over it because I saw how everyone was so welcoming. Not everybody, but the majority was really welcoming and it helped out a lot.
Every minute, 2 people in the U.S. die from cancer, with many in the United States suffering the mental and physical pain this disease puts them through. But unfortunately, it does happen, and thankfully, these survivors stay strong throughout their journey.
I beat it. It's been since December
18th, 2018.
I'm still going through chemo, but I'm my 2nd type.
I mean, you feel crappy the entire time that you're actually going through treatment.
The change I seen in her behavior was that she could see that one day you're here and one day you can be gone.
I think I can sympathize with people a lot more than I could have before.
It humbled me way down. Honestly, I used to think I was but then when you get sick, it goes, makes you it humbles you. I just honestly feel it makes me a better person because I'm more understanding on other people's problems and now I understand that my life wasn't as hard as I thought it was, you know, and that there's bigger problems in the world.
And I see life as differently, you know, so some of the things that I see that, you know, most people would wig out about, then I don't really, you know, wig out about it, because I said that, you know, if I can beat cancer, this little thing is not a big thing.
Sometimes I feel like I'm not capable of doing like all the type of things that kids of my age are doing. And it kind of, like, I don't know, it kind of sucks, but it's okay, you know?
While these stories should all make us thankful for our own health, recognizing each individual's strength and personal stories should also make us all more aware of how unpredictable cancer can be. For WJAG-TV, this has been Trinice Anderson.
It's inspiring to see so many of our classmates that are currently battling or have fought cancer. You guys are incredible. Don't you agree, Kiki?
I totally agree with you, Aaliyah. They are very brave and heroic. You guys keep fighting. Okay. After the sad departure of our previous principal, Dr. Maxwell, Cedar is in the process of choosing a new principal. Camry Branch attended the recent community input meeting with parents, teachers, and students to get their views on what characteristics make a qualified principal. Let's take a look.
Cedar was struck with the news that Mr. Maxwell, our former principal, will no longer work here. Here are some of the students' reactions and how they feel about this topic.
When he left, it kind of like impacted the school community as a whole very deeply, because he was a very like involved principal with like everything going on. He really related to the kids, so I think Cedar hurt from it a little bit when he left.
It was kind of, I wasn't mad that he left. I was kind of like in the middle, because a lot of us didn't really get to know Maxwell like that, but he did have a big impact. So when he left, school was kind of chaotic and it was just all over the place. So
right now there's a local school governance team that will select a candidate from the pool. Right now there's 8 candidates that have signed up for the position.
This is what we do every time we hire a principal. We let the staff know the process and how they can be involved. It allows them to provide feedback for the process. They get to tell us what's important to them, and we share that with the hiring committees. And then we have a meeting right after the staff meeting tonight with the community. And so anyone that is involved in the community, parents, business owners, students can come, and we just do the exact same thing over. It just kind of helps us divide the size out a little bit. But it's just an informational meeting to explain to everyone how the hiring process works.
November 7th, 2019, Ms. Duke held a meeting for the community to come share their thoughts and opinions on the new principal. Here's what they have to say.
I think the next principal has to be relatable to the students, because that's what we like in a principal, because Maxwell really showed that great. He was very relatable. I think he also has to be strict as well as relatable, because you can't have a school without discipline. And I also think that he has to have some type of structure.
Just that he could keep his staff in line, so that the staff, his or her staff in line, so that staff could, I guess, be better about watching students and the learning objectives of students, because a lot of students seem to skip and don't do this and don't do that, and it all goes back to the principal, the superintendent. It just goes back to the main district. So just that the principal, the new principal, whoever comes in, has the confidence to just take control and push us to where we need to be.
So I would really like to have a principal that is going to support some of our really awesome things that we have going on here at Cedar Shoals, like restorative justice and the peer leadership program. They're unique and important programs here at Cedar Shoals. So I'd really like a principal to do those things. I also would like a principal who's going to really work closely with the teachers and help the teachers feel really supported. Because I think teachers do their best job when they feel supported by the administration. And I also want a principal that's going to, keep Cedar Shoals safe and, focus on that and having a reasonable plan in place for safety.
Dates for the next meeting is still unknown, but come and join us next time to have your voice heard. This have been Camry Ranch signing off.
Safety, engagement, and bringing the Jaguar morale back to Cedar are the key characteristics we can hope for in our next principal.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to live up to Mr. Maxwell's rep, but we can only hope for someone with the love, compassion, and the will to want all of us to succeed.
Social media platforms such as Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, and countless others can be beneficial and innovative ways to share information, communicate, and even advertise. But it can also be harmful to your psychological health. Here's Sue Odeyemi with more.
People around the world can succumb to addiction. there have been people trying to find out why people get addicted. Psychology teacher Ms. Brown talks more about what addiction is.
Addiction is basically when you have become dependent on, it can be a substance like a drug, but it goes beyond simple dependence to the point where a person is using that substance to the point where it can be detrimental to them or those around them, but despite that, they persist in using that drug.
Social media addiction can be very influential because of the effects it has.
With social media addiction, I think it's a lot more about looking at how it influences and impacts our psychological states. A lot of social media addiction has to do with that feeling of a need for some sort of like social verification, or it's almost like a reward system for people, to the point where they feel like they really need it. It's become a central part of their life.
Teenagers are highly susceptible to social media addiction without knowing the full extent to the effects.
Teenagers can be highly susceptible to feeling like they need to use or be on social media all the time without fully understanding how it might be affecting them. If you're not really aware of it or you don't really take the time to think about it, I think that people can not really take that into consideration, not really take it seriously. I think people really do need to look at how social media might be influencing the way that they think or the way that they feel about themselves and others.
Like maybe 8, I can probably go without my phone, but it might be hard. I like to text people. That's how I stay in contact with people.
About 6 hours, yeah, easily. I can actually do any other thing except be on my phone, like any other hobbies or something.
Social media can be really detrimental towards one's ability to focus, and the time that can be spent for human interactions are cut off due to time online.
For one thing, it can be distracting. Another thing we've seen is that it influences the way that people interact with one another. So on the one hand, it's great that we have another platform to really connect and connect across long distances. On the other hand, though, you don't want to become so absorbed in social media that all of your communication is really taking place online and not really person to person. It kind of has good and bad effects at the same time.
WJAG-TV, this has been Sue Adambi.
Kiki, sad to say, but I think I'm a social media addict.
Aaliyah, it's okay. We'll get you cured as soon as possible.
Thanks, Kiki. I appreciate that. Now to sports.
In boys basketball, the Jags have started their basketball season with 2 big wins, defeating Parkview 85-80 and Madison County 70-40.
As far as executing, we could have done that better, but we did. We executed some plays really well, and one thing that we could have done better is on the defensive end, especially near the end when they were coming back, weren't getting rebounds.
Yeah, we was kind of lazy on defense.
Yeah, letting them.
We thought like we had to win. We won the game.
I expected it to go as it did, but a lot better.
Yeah,
you know,
it should have been more crisp.
Should have really had 80 or more points, but we ended up with what, 70? 60, 70? Yeah.
Most of our passes was sloppy. Yeah. Turning the ball over, unnecessary turnovers.
Taking bad shots, enforcing stuff that wasn't there.
But I kind of expected the game to be a blowout. But we weren't worried about beating Madison County. We were worried about like practicing to beat like the Archers and Buford.
Yeah, that game was kind of like the Lakeview game. It was more about not like, you know, competing obviously, but not more about trying to like winning the game, but just working on our stuff to see see where we are as far as what we need to work on in practice and later on for the season. One thing we definitely worked on was defense, and we did rebounding drills.
A lot of rebounding drills.
Yeah,
we got out rebounded
17, I think,
against Parkview.
They out rebounded the mess out of us. I'm not gonna hold you.
We pushed the ball in transition.
Yeah,
we got a lot of transition buckets.
And communicating in the first half. In the first 3 quarters, communicating was really good. Letting each other know when the screen was coming, we were switching, who was cutting, and all that. So, just the chemistry overall was really good.
It was a good team win.
Yeah.
The times we was tired, we was sloppy on defense.
Yeah, I don't know what, in the 4th quarter, the defensive intensity just started going down because they started coming back slowly, but, you know, with times like that, when they're coming back, he had to put us back in so we could, just end the game right there.
The Jags defeated Carver Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs 36-12 and are now preparing to face off against the Jones County Greyhounds this Friday.
If you can come out and support us, make sure to do so. We'd like to congratulate Stephen Wakefield, Raquel Willingham, Jaheim Wilson, Tyrone Campbell, Jalen Jackson, and Jaden Williams on making the first team all-region.
Well, we made a couple of plays early, kind of gave us some confidence. And, we had a game plan and we kind of stuck with it and executed it for the first time in a long time.
We're practicing hard, practicing longer, working hard at practice.
We was able to run the ball, they would run the ball and we adjusted to what they were doing on defense. They actually came out and played a different defense than we anticipated, but we adjusted very well and moved on.
Last week I didn't really catch the ball well. This week I've been working hard on my routes and hands to catch the ball better this week.
I thought they did a good job. They got a very, very good running back that's going to Mississippi State. We did a pretty good job, especially the first half, corralling them and stuff like that. But, they're a good football team as well. And we made some plays when we needed to. But we played big on special teams. They set up a lot.
We didn't cover well on kickoff. So we practicing that this week. We should do better this week.
I think our defensive line had a great night. Jaheim Wilson, Tim Ryan, and Jalen Jackson did a great job. They did a good job of penetrating and making some plays so that the people behind them can make them as well. We covered a muff punt, and second half we did a better job covering the kickoff. So in spots we did, but we still got some areas to work on too. We missed a couple extra points, missed a field goal, so there's a lot of room for improvement.
The wrestling team is getting ready to kick off the season. Coach Culliver and the players are very excited to see how they can perform this year.
We have a lot of younger wrestlers that's going to do amazing. And we have a lot of people on the team that's going to do way better than last year. We're just going to keep working.
The good thing, we still have some really good juniors coming back. It'll be Austin McDavid and Corbin Umble. They'll be the older guys this year. They're both juniors.
I think it's going to be kind of fun for me, to be honest, because it is my first year and I don't really know what to expect. So practicing like stances, stuff like that, practicing how to move around on the mats. Nothing too big.
I'm looking to improve turnout. We need more wrestlers. I mean, we got a brand new facility being built right here on campus, right here in the old gym. We just need more kids to come out and wrestle. It's really a good sport.
To be honest, we all just kind of go at it and we all kind of have fun. We just recently started practicing wrestling, the actual wrestling part outside of conditioning, but it's just all kind of fun for me right now.
Good luck to the wrestling team. There are high hopes for boys basketball team, and the Lady Jags will have to continue to work harder for the results they desire. Back to the studio.
Well, that concludes this week's news. We'll be back next week with all new stories about Cedar Shoals Jaguars and the East Side community. My name is Aaliyah Nile.
And I'm Kiki Rayford. And
this has been WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.